Hello, Maria Bartholdi, joined by Shaheen Soorani. You're known as the Control Master, but at this PT, you might be known as the Combo Master. What are you playing and why?
Well, today is a sad day and a happy day, right? the bad part is I'm not playing Control, and I'm sorry for those who I maybe have misled on Twitter. I really wanted to play Control today. I really wanted to play Control in this tournament, but I've been kind of notorious for dogging the actual power level of Control. No matter how hard I try, no matter how hard Nassif, other masters of the Control world try, we can't get it to the tier 1 level for a multitude of reasons. But I played Blue-White for 2 months, played Jeskai, I practice, and you're supposed to beat creatures. You have Wrath of Gods, you have Supreme Verdicts, and you can't beat creature decks. You're supposed to beat combo decks, you have all this countermatch. You can't beat combo decks, and you're kind of like 40% against the field. That's just not where you want to be. This format is a bang format. Turn 3, turn 4, a lot of the games are decided already, and Control, especially Blue-White, has a hard time finishing. So, we're going to kill them on turn 3 with this deck.
All right, so you're playing Krark Clan Ironworks.
Yep.
All right, so I've lost to this deck exactly one time in spectacular fashion. It's a really cool and unique deck, and you think you're the only person playing it here this weekend. Talk me through why these cards in particular are a special part of this deck.
Okay, so these are kind of the famous egg components, and there have been egg decks in history and modern.
Which essentially means just like drawing a card, cantripping.
Right, yeah, so beautiful cantrips, which I love, of course. You feel like a blue mage even though you're sacking a bunch of artifacts, but all these are kind of just the standard ones you play in a format or in a deck type where you need to get through a lot of your deck at once, and also you need to play a lot of artifacts to generate a lot of mana. Chromatic Star is obviously the all-star. It's 1 mana, goes to the graveyard, draws a card. Chromatic Sphere is a little bit worse. A lot worse.
It's not quite the star.
It's not the star. It's definitely the secondary role here because it doesn't add mana when you sacrifice it to Ironworks and draw a card where this does. There is a side powerful aspect to this, and that is against decks that lock you down and make so you can't go through your library. They look at the top card of your library. The prison style decks, you're able to get through that because drawing a card is part of the resolution of the spell.
Sure.
So when you play against like these style decks, you can get through that. It's a little bit better. Terrarion's another Chromatic Star, same fashion. And then Ichor Wellspring. If you see this card, you know you're playing this KCI deck. It's the draw 2 divination of the deck. So.
And you said you're able to keep a lot of your hands because this helps you get through your deck very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, your hands are very redundant, very common looking. You have a bunch of cantrips and hopefully 1 combo piece, and those are really easy keeps. If you don't have a combo piece, it's kind of a sketchy keep. But these cantrips allow you to get through a lot of your deck, and you're able to keep a multitude of hands. And keeping 7 cards is really strong. So.
All right, let's take a look at what else we're working with here. We've got Everflowing Chalice, Mox Opal, and Mind Stone. And you mentioned Mox Opal, one of the big reasons to play this deck.
Yeah, Mox Opal is the card that's on a different power level than the rest of the modern cards. It's one of the last free mana spells, like Simian Spirit Guide's in there, but it's not as good as Mox Opal. Mox Opal keeps affinity relevant, and it keeps these style combo decks still kicking because you're able to play 4 mana spells in turn 3, and that happens to be the combo piece. Everflowing Chalice was a 4 of, a 3 of, a 2 of, a 1 of, and it's on its way out because it's the weaker of the cards. You have enough zeros because of a card we're going to see in a moment and the Mox Opals. One big aspect of this deck is you can't shave a lot of the cards of 1 converted mana cost type because you have to be able to chain your cantrips and your spells. So you need some zeros to get back from the 1s. You need some 1s to get back from the 2s. And if you kind of shave too many or don't calculate that when you build the deck, you'll end up whiffing, and you can't be doing that. So, and Mind Stone is kind of like the better Everflowing Chalice because the casting cost of 2, and it has some upside drawing a card as well. So this is the kind of turn 3 KCI dream here.
All right, let's take a look at what kind of makes the deck tick. This is the reason for the season here. Mirror Retriever, Scrap Trawler, which made the whole thing possible once again, and Krark Clan Ironworks.
Yep, so Krark Clan Ironworks is the combo that's been around for a bit. It was played in Standard, and it kind of was joking around with Mirror Incubator. You sack a bunch of stuff, fireball your opponent. That was the old Standard. It was pretty cool. Came into Modern a little bit with Second Sunrise and Egg components. That got banned. And then Scrap Trawler was printed, and we kind of, Michael Majors was one of the ones who kind of helped bring this deck to light. Pascal Maynard on my team in trios played this deck, and he swore by it. But he said it was inconsistent. And then I kind of went to the Gatherer, which I always go to, found this guy, and this creature actually allows you to have insurance against flooding out It lets you continue to combo off when you're kind of like low on resources, and it produces an infinite loop with 2 scrap trawlers and 1 mirror retriever, or 2 mirror retrievers and 1 scrap trawler. So this was like the real missing link to make this deck really powerful. So with mirror retriever, and it's also just a valuable card. Like you just get your things countered or get them killed, and you're able to play this and easily get your cards back. So.
And of course, Ironworks is fueling the entire engine for your end game. And let's take a look at some of your win conditions here. 1 Emrakul and 2 Hangerback Walkers.
Yeah, so Emrakul is kind of like the namesake win condition for almost every combo deck that produces a lot of mana or puts in a creature into play like through the breach. So Emrakul is the spell you want to ramp into. There are a lot of draws that you can have where you just naturally play it because KCI produces so much mana, and 15 is pretty easy in this deck. I've been able to play KCI on turn 3. It's easy.
Wow.
It's a joke, right?
No problem.
No problem. Tron, who needs Tron, right?
Yeah, right.
So you just have a bunch of artifacts, you sack to this. It's never loses the game when you play it. You play it in a way where you actually have a Hangerback Walker in the process to produce enough tokens for lethal, just in case the Annihilator 6 doesn't do it. Hangerback Walker retrieves Emrakul with Sanctum of Ugin, so you can pump a lot of mana into Hangerback Walker, and this you basically demonic tutor for it when you sack Sanctum of Ugin. So Hangerback Walker is also a great blocker. It's actually a reason why I've been beating Death Shadow here and there. It's because they go really low. I'll play a Hangerback for 3 or 2, and then it really just puts the pressure on them, and you're able to finish them off without playing the combo piece. Sometimes you got to win the hard way, and this guy helps you win the hard way.
All right, let's take a look at some more of the tools that you're packing here. Collective Brutality as a one of Ancient Stirrings seems pretty obvious, and Engineered Explosives helps you survive.
Yeah, this is kind of the odd one, the odd duck in the pile here, because it's a one of, but it's also, you have that flex slot. Like I told you, we want to cut Everflowing Chalice. It's kind of a weak card, and this allows you to kind of force through your combo. It kills Game 1 creatures like Thalia that destroys you. She's amazing against this deck and makes it very hard to combo. Mentally Maze, another card that Collective Brutality takes out. Eidolon, the Great Rebel. There's just so many cards that this helps you against, so this is an easy one of. Ancient Stirrings is the reason to play an artifact combo deck, like you mentioned. You just look at the top 5. Other decks you have to really like dig deeper. This is a 1-mana dig 5, and it's just one of the best cards in the deck. And then Engineered Explosives, you need just more answers to those threats I mentioned earlier. And also you can pump 7 mana into it and activate Sanctum, which is a really cool trick because it triggers it even if the Sunburst is low. So these cards help you survive against these other decks.
All right, let's take a look at some of the lands that you've brought to the table here. Here's a Sanctum of Ugin that you mentioned, Inventor's Fair and Academy Runes. Why is Inventor's Fair so good in this deck?
So this made the deck. Even though Scrap Trawler made the deck viable, this actually is the icing on the cake. This is more demonic tutoring for the deck. It's super easy to activate. You just have all the opals and mana rocks in order to get enough artifacts to activate it. You can tutor any piece you're missing, and it's just a super versatile card. Against blue-white today, when I beat it earlier, I was able to get Defense Grid and then go off from there. So it's just a super versatile card. Gains life against red decks. Sanctum of Ugin is like I said earlier, it gets you Emrakul, and then Academy Ruins is just an easy one of to get back counter pieces.
All right, we've got just a few more lands to look at here. We have Tendo Ice Bridge. Explain this one to me.
So you could play other lands. You could play like Aether Hub.
Sure.
But I might forget the trigger of Aether Hub. So this helps me protect me from myself.
I mean, smart.
Hey, just in case they could trick bind it. They could, with a trigger on the stack, do something. So Tendo Ice Bridge, I hate saying it, is strictly better than Aether Hub.
Wow.
Forest against Path to Exile, against Ghost Quarter. Dark's Citadel is amazing, allows you to go off really early, and then Grow the Burnwells is your dual land that doesn't hurt you.
All right, so overall, how are you finding this deck has played for you so far this weekend?
So far, I'm only 2 rounds deep. Round one against my worst matchup, and then lost to my better matchup is because you play too quick. So the suggestion I give to everybody is make sure you take your time. So I tapped out, played a card, drew a card, said go, but I drew a Mox Opal. There's just so many things you can do in your turn. There's like 4 or 5 plays sometimes. So this deck's really powerful. It looks difficult, but don't be daunted by that. If you get 2, 3, 4, 5 reps in with this in leagues, it's super easy to play after that. So minus my mistake earlier, but you guys won't make those mistakes. But I think the deck's super powerful. It plays Mox Opal, it combos on turn 3. Good deck.
Well, Shaheen Soorani, thank you so much for showing this deck to us, and best of luck to you at the rest of the tournament.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And now we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to meet Team Ultra Pro.